I'm here now presenting the building technology cases. We have actually 4 cases prepared. One on US market and PACs, on energy saving, on water, and then most importantly, what's happening in the Swiss market in the future with Mario Hegi and my colleague Andres Caballero. What you see behind this is the vision of Schaffhausen in the future. So there's a lot of building potential. But hey, let me start here. I just wanted to introduce you a bit because the Uponor team is a bit new to the club here, and I just wanted to give you an overview of the team. And actually, they are all here on the right side, just in front of the ice cream. And I introduced Andres. Sebastian is not here. He's actually already moved on the other side, presenting with Joost. We have Markus Melko here, CFO. Thomas Fuhr is taking care of the technology. We have Jennifer from US, HR. Carlotta is doing marketing. Reta takes care of legal. And we have Garrett running sales. And that's the dream team. And today we have also the colleague Mario Hegi from GF, who will then present later the Swiss case. This will actually happening after the event. We expect all of you leave the event with an Uponor tattoo or GF Uponor tattoo at your back. But what happened here, and we have really a fantastic brand status in the United States, probably more than anywhere else. But Andres is the best one who can really explain how this really happened. PACs and the success in the United States. Thank you, Andres.
Great. Thank you, Michael. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us today. We were looking for what would be the photo that could demonstrate the level of trust and loyalty. And certainly this will be one of them. This is actually someone that we know. He's one of our contractors in the US. And he's been so loyal to Uponor Technologies and quality for over 30 years that he chose to actually put a tattoo on his back. And we stay in contact with them. So I'll talk a little bit about the US market and the North America market for Uponor. Third quarter performance so far, about 400 million in sales with a very strong operating profit performance, which is another testament of the trust that customers have on our products in the market, about 19.2%. When you see down, most of that is in the US, about 85%, very strong penetration and brand presence, and also around 15% in Canada. And if you think about Canada to US, about a 10x difference in size of the economies, this will give you a sense of about 7x of the much stronger even penetration that we have in Canada. So even though we are #1 brand in the US, we actually have an even bigger presence in terms of Canadian market, which is very important for us. We have about 4,500 SKUs and part numbers, and the majority of that is on the drinking water or plumbing systems. PEX technology moved from Europe into the US over 30 years ago and started on applications around heating and cooling. But very quickly, contractors realized the huge efficiencies that you can get from PEX systems over existing copper systems. And very rapidly, the market started adopting PEX technology for drinking water. I'll just point out some of the examples of that. You'll see here some of the drinking water technologies we have. This is some of our PEX technologies, and you'll see there's a little example of a typical drinking water system. And I'll be happy to spend some time with any of you later if you want to have more questions about it. This will be a great example of our heating or energy systems, heating and cooling. We'll have also some electronic controls and some PEX pipe used for underfloor heating and cooling. So very strong on the plumbing side, which is a great asset for us, and great opportunity also on expanding on heating and cooling applications. We have 2 main manufacturing sites. They are all supporting each other. They have same capabilities and technologies, which allows us to be able to move from one to another one as needed to drive efficiencies. We expect to manufacture around 600 million feet of pipe per year, and we think we have a total capacity of about 900. So plenty of room to continue to grow and expand in the markets, both in the US and Canada. And then we have total, including our warehousing facilities, about 1 million square feet in the region. Our headcount is about a little over half of them is in the production or manufacturing side, and then less than half is the rest of the team that includes the office and the field teams. We're also very proud of our sustainability heritage from our Finnish roots and also now into our Swiss sustainability roots. That's one of the reasons why we are personally very excited about the GF Uponor combination is because we continue to be very, very proud of doing the right thing for the planet. And we think that GF has that mentality, and we're super excited to be part of that. One example is we put a lot of focus in our energy consumption. The extruded technologies used for manufacturing pipe are very energy intensive. So we work with our energy companies to ensure that the majority of it, and as of today, over 97% of all energy that we use for our manufacturing sites is coming from renewable sources, which is another point that makes us very proud of our sustainability heritage. Why have we been so successful in the US? And I wanted to take a moment to highlight this. The reason is when PEX technology came into the US, it was immediately proven as the preferred method to making solid and reliable and high quality connections. And you'll see here that the reason why we feel very good about the future is because that productivity and efficiency on the connections will continue to be a key driver. On the chart you'll see here, as construction continues to grow steadily over time, labor availability has started to decline. And what it's doing is there is going to be more openings for construction workers needed to be able to construct these houses and buildings and commercial buildings. That's where productivity is critical, and that's where our technologies will play a big role, because our technologies will allow to be able to build or install systems, whether it's plumbing systems or heating systems, faster with less requirement of labor. As Michael alluded to, the technology makes these connections much faster, so it's about 35% faster than plastic crimping technologies. It's about 50% faster than CPVC that requires some chemical connection or gluing, and it's about 80% faster than copper technologies. And also the cost that you heard, it is also a cost-effective way to connecting plumbing and heating systems. So we're very, very proud of what we have and great potential for us into the future. Let me touch on a couple of things. Because of our quality and reliability, we are the #1 brand on plumbing solutions in the US and Canada. And we have been able to maintain that status for over a long period of time. Over the last 5 years, we have maintained above 6% CAGR, and at the same time expanding profitability. So this financial performance, it is a testament of how much our customers trust the quality and the performance of our products. We are in 1 in every 3 houses in the US. So in one hand, we're the #1, but there's still a lot of room to grow. We want to be on at least half of them and then later continue to grow. The other growth opportunity is commercial markets. We are single-digit penetration in commercial markets, big buildings, residential, shopping malls, stadiums. We're still penetrating that market, so there's a huge potential. One thing we need to continue to grow that is more products and technologies, perhaps coming from industrial applications, utility applications. Guess what we have now? We have that bigger portfolio to get into that commercial markets, and I'll talk about how exciting that is. And then we talk about copper. Copper is being significantly displaced, but we're not done yet. There's still a lot of opportunity to get copper out of installations. One great example is, you guess what city? New York City. New York City is still using exclusively copper for all the applications. So can you imagine when we are able to start using some plastic technologies, then it will open up new markets for us. So we're excited about that. Some examples of the synergies that we've been discussing, one of them is our manufacturing and distribution. We've been very effective using our Minneapolis-based operations to use our partners through distribution across Canada and the US. but we want to be closer to our customers. And now we have, with GF Uponor, a much broader set of facilities that would allow us to use strategically production sites, warehousing sites to be closer to our customers, and that will drive profitable growth and value. Geographical expansion, we have been very strong in US and Canada, and we have identified South America as a big growth opportunity for us. We haven't been able to accelerate that strategy because we require feet in the ground. And that's what we have now. We have now very strong presence in Brazil and Mexico, the biggest markets in South America. So we're very excited about that. And then technology. We wanted to invest in technology. We know technology, takes time and big investment, but now we have a much broader portfolio of pipe, fittings, valves, controls, and specialty solutions from GF that we're going to be able to offer to our customers because they trust us. And just to close, this is an example of the commercial markets. This is a big building. It is right there in downtown Orlando. It is multi-use, residential, commercial, and we've been able to deliver a lot of solutions for chilled water, heating water in the units, coming from the streets, and it became project of the year by the plastic pipe industry. And the one thing we know is we could have sold more products in these units. And now we have a bigger portfolio with GF that we can go after these kind of commercial projects and accelerate the growth. So we're very, very excited about where we're at and our future. Thank you for your attention. I'll turn it back to Michael.
Okay.
Yes.
So now you understand why we are successful in the US. Every third new built home is with Uponor, which means 2/3 potential, right?
Yep.
And PAC's really a success. So let me go through the second case here. It's demand for energy efficient solutions. And that's so critical. I mean, this is the mega trend. Everybody asking for these new systems. And of course, in the past, we were really delivering these underfloor heating systems. But now it's the total combination. And what becomes more popular in a few cases here is the cooling side. But then with technology and predictive AI and measures, you can run a building with 30% less energy. And this is really driving the market. So climate change, as Andrea said, 40% of the energy consumption in Europe, and I think it's worldwide, it's the same, is caused by buildings. So setting up the buildings, but also running the buildings. But also what we see, there's a demand for cooling devices, which of course will increase the demand for more energy. So what are we doing about this? And this is just the situation. And so this is the pressure of a market, and this mega trend will not go away. And we will not bet on, let's say, cheap gas prices in the future. So we need to do something about. The other thing is really, there's a big renovation wave. There are so many buildings out in Europe where there's a demand for renovation. So we have actually two markets. The new build running really behind. The renovation market is really waiting for all these solutions because everybody asking, how can I really reduce my energy bill? So here's the solution. It's a combination. It's the heating and cooling solution powered by this Smartrix. Because clearly the efficiency of an underfloor heating system, and of course you have the ones for new build, but you have also the very thin ones you can use in a renovation sector. And now everybody in Europe is talking about the heat pumps with underfloor heating and cooling. That's the combination. And actually, let's say the intelligence is not in the heat pump, just delivers the heat. The intelligence sits in how you run the comfort in home, which is the temperature, humidity, and that's the key to it. So this is the solution we offer. And this is, of course, what we bring to the table. And we have a really fantastic case here. This is a project in Sevilla, Spain. So what is really specific about this? The municipalities, they said, in Sevilla, in the future, we expect temperatures up to 55 degrees. And they say, okay, we want to set here an example how we can run a city and get to net zero to a net zero solution. And are there products and solutions out there to help us? And they didn't come up with air compressed solutions. Now they choose an open product, and this is what we are really proud of, because in some markets they say, okay, the cooling by water gives you only a few percentage of few degrees. That's a bit the perception in the United States. But if this works in an environment where they expect 50 or more degrees Celsius, it can work anywhere. So that's really, really important. And not only in Spain, they're really on open products, also in the Middle East. I mean, this is a headquarter of a company which is really deep in the energy and climate solution prospects. And of course, they set standards in the Middle East. What's the product they have selected for their own headquarters? Guess what? It's a finished product. And I think that's just amazing. So we really set standards in this industry. And of course, the other big sector is what I'm having here. By the way, it's not really very sustainable to have bottled water. The future will be premium water out of the tap. And I think that's so important. And our systems really have a high standard to deliver great quality of water. But what's the issue really? There are many. I have picked one. So when you look at this, what water hygiene at home is a really big issue. In 3 or 4 buildings in modern cities, we have a potential Legionella issue. And if it happens, it's expensive. Can be up to 50,000 euros if you have really cleaned the system, etc. So you need to have really intelligent system to move the water, de facto. So what is a typical example? Any building which isn't being used for a few weeks. Schools, for example. So you need to have intelligent systems to keep the water going. And of course, and I come later to the GF solution, where we have a solution here for homes, which is a combination of this Uponor Unipi Plus. So it's a loop installation for steady use. We have this Uponor Motion, so which is a flushing station for safe water exchange. But then also, to avoid Legionella, you need to be at a certain temperature level. And with the heat interface unit, you just produce the heat when instantly in a moment of use. So it's highly energy efficient. Mm-hmm. It keeps the water quality, and even on the risers, what we have built here is it's very important that you offer a system where the distance between the pipes is exactly like it should be. If they come close together, warm and cold water, what do you create? Legionella problems. So not only it's the product, it's the whole system, it's the intelligence you need to build into the system. And this is what we are really doing. And together, we can offer now a combination, because we are strong in decentralized solutions, GF in centralized solutions. Actually, we solve the same problem, but in a total different market segment. And actually, over there, we have a showroom I would say, in the back office over there. And yeah, you can really show we have installed both products together, and guess what? It perfectly fits. And this is what this is a showcase we have here for decentralized heating in the Grand Tower in Frankfurt. It's an apartment building. They use heat interface units. And it's really interesting. We have one project in Frankfurt where the owner said, okay, I'm not really quite convinced of this technology. And we said, okay, we make a bet. We install the technology, but from the energy saving, we get 50% back. Guess what? It's a good model. So we earn money from products. It's basically heating and cooling as a service. Not sure if we can roll this out, but it shows really how powerful this is and how efficient this is. So I think that's a great example. So last but not least, it all comes together really in the market. And of course, you're all interested. So what are you doing, Michael, now in Switzerland? And Switzerland is an amazing market on its own, very, very special. And while US is for GF Uponor the biggest market, I can tell you the GF Uponor market from a per capita perspective is today already the biggest in the whole world. And who is responsible for the markets? Mario Hegi. And he is not shy to say, you know what, Michael, and we met last week, he said, there's even more potential. I say, oh, why don't you explain this to the press and to the investors and the analysts? How do you see the future?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mario.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Andreas. This was, I understand all my colleagues, they will be start to sell the products, not tomorrow, they will start to sell the products today. We in Switzerland are really excited of the future together with Uponor. We see a lot of opportunities to grow together and build a success story. But who is the sales company Switzerland? We are represent in the whole country, in the French-speaking part, Italian, in the German-speaking part, and there with our office. We have showrooms, and really important, the training centers. We are really close to our customers, to the plumbers, to the planners. This makes us so great in Switzerland. We are in Switzerland, we have about 60 employees. Of the 60 employees are 30 sales reps. They're daily out of the street to bring up the brand awareness, bring closer the products to our customers. We have a really strong brand awareness on the high market share to about 30 to 35 percentage point. Also, we have a long and a strong partnership with our biggest customer in Switzerland. For example, the Später Gruppe, Debrunner and Meyer-Tobler. After the announcement, we have the first discussion with our customers, and they signaled us they are interested in the future also take Uponor products to their ranges. Yeah, I like this chart really much. We talk about a lot of this chart. We see this chart before inside. That shows us how good match the products from Uponor and GF together. On the left side, we see the water solution. This is our core business from GF in Switzerland. We are there really strong with the valves. We see here. We are really strong also with the packs. It's a similar story to the United States. And we are okay with multi-layer products. And also here in our core business, we have potential to grow. Will Uponor have a really nice product? This is a multi-layer press system. Switzerland is a press market, and Uponor have a nice additional product, not just with press, also with bigger pipes, then we go in bigger projects. On the left side, we see the products from indoor climates. This is for us really important. Well, we are not in Switzerland, in GF, with indoor climates by our customers. This is the potential to grow the business. For example, in Switzerland, I think one of the most important products is the underfloor heating. Switzerland is an underfloor heating country. It's cooling. Cooling is more and more important. I remember the last summer in Switzerland was really hot. And also, last but not least, the smart control. Here I can show how we can increase the share of wallets in Switzerland with Uponor products. When we see on the left side, this is a typical residential building in Switzerland. We delivered the pack system there, and also we delivered the valves. In the future, we have also the opportunity, we can deliver the multi-layer press system. We can deliver the whole indoor climate with underfloor heating and the smart solution. On the left side, I think so everybody knows this reference, the circle in Zurich. We have delivered there a lot of packs, a lot of valves. We also deliver there the multi-layer products, and of course also products from industry and utility. But in the future, we have the opportunity. We go also with bigger pipes in the multi-layer, and of course for the indoor climate solution. Michael,
Thank you very much.
we are ready in Switzerland. We are excited for a future together.
Okay, so I hear the price lists are already printed.
yeah.
We're ready to go, but it's really, you can come.
Yeah.
It's really amazing because the discussion I had with Mario, I have the same discussions also in other markets. And Andreas, we get over the question, so where can we start? When can we start? And also there we need to be also a bit patient because these things take time. Also in implementation, we want to really deliver the quality to our customers. But everybody recognizes the potential is absolutely there. And that's really good. So the spirit of really making this happen is just fantastic. And if we can grow in a market like Switzerland, where we have such a high share of penetration already, then we can grow in all the European and US markets. For sure. So with this, I'm open for any questions.
In the last 10 years, total investments in residential construction in the US increased by more than 10%, driven by record low mortgage rates. You mentioned that you have been grown by 6% in the last 5 years. How can this difference be explained? Is it because you are less present in Texas and California, or what are the reasons for this difference? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll cover that. I think when you look at the last 5 years as compared to the last 10, there has been a big upflux and down given COVID and supplier availability. So you'll take some of those things and you'll see that we continue to grow slightly above market across all the areas in the US and Canada. Some of the construction has actually been moved from new residential construction to retrofit and remodeling, which is another area where we're starting to play more to build resiliency. So we're shifting our strategy to continue to play and build more resiliency about different markets, not just dependency on the single family residential construction in the US.
Yeah. Any? Sure. Microphone is just there.
Thank you. You showed a nice chart where you said, okay, look, plastic is around 60% market share in the US, and copper is 15% only left. Can I quickly ask you how this chart was looking around 15 years ago or 20 years ago?
Yeah. You want to?
Yeah.
This was.
This one here, hard to know exactly what the numbers looked 20 years ago, but when PEX was introduced into the markets, copper was the preferred system to be used. So I would say anywhere between 80 to 90% was copper, and maybe CPVC had some of the other share of the market before PEX entered into the marketplace.
But then taking into account that this penetration of plastic was increasing so significantly, and also that building permits are maybe not growing very fast, this means a big wave of growth could be over in the US now.
Yeah, for over the last 30 years, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, looking in the future, when you see that the plastic penetration is much higher now, versus it was 15 or 20 years ago. And
let me answer. First of all, there's a 40-50% still copper. And there are, of course, markets where there is there's no PEX at all, like New York City. And of course, then what you also explained is really the market then gets from residential only to commercial, and also the renovation market is highly attractive for us. So far, we have only played in the residential, have started to move into commercial, which now will be accelerated with some of the collaboration with Georg Fischer. But also we look at other market segments.
Thanks.
You mentioned before that. Sorry, you mentioned before that.
We heard.
We hear you, but they don't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before that in the US you will benefit from the production footprint of Georg Fischer and the distribution footprint of Georg Fischer. Could you elaborate on that a little bit? with some examples how you can benefit from that?
Sure. There is a big construction intensity in the south part of the U.S., and we're seeing a trend towards trying to be closer to our customers to provide faster to market, product delivery. So when we have centralized our warehousing and manufacturing in the upper part of the country, it takes a few days to bring some of that product back to the south of the U.S. By having access to those facilities, we can have much more control where we have the right inventory at the right time closer to our customers. That's the area that we're going to be exploring as a synergy.
So you don't have a distribution facility in Texas right now?
No, exactly. Okay. And this is what I just picked up the chart here. This is exactly where the people got excited. If it's this distribution centers, and so big, because I mean it's a big effort because we have a highly productive manufacturing site in the north. You think twice or more if you start then to move this production somewhere else in the United States, because it might sound trivial, but producing a PEX pipe is an art, because we learned in the Americas where we were there, the production, you look at more than 50 factors when you produce such a PEX pipe. It's really high tech, and you need to make sure you deliver the quality. This also was always a reason not to move. You really need to make sure once you're out there, you have a team who can produce the same quality, otherwise you create a big problem. And as everybody of you have mentioned before, quality is of course a very important factor in the United States.
And I think what is maybe also important to consider when GF has an external warehouse in Chicago. And Minneapolis obviously is just next door. And we have been visiting together with our business unit, America's head of piping systems, recently the sites of Uponor, and he immediately jumped on that one and said, I would like to have my products being hosted here in Minneapolis. So we're going to have synergies in terms of operational costs, more or less, ongoing from next year onward, in the middle when we're going to start to relocate, this kind of products.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if I just can ask an add-on question on that, you hardly make 500 million in sales just in these upper states around Chicago or between Chicago and Boston. I mean, you are everywhere right now, or not?
No, we are almost in all the states, but of course, the more you go south, the more expensive it gets, clearly. So, and of course, it's a market which is a bit more on a lower price level. So there is, of course, somewhere a tipping point here. But then with this new footprint, we have now a complete, new situation.
You get more competitive because your costs are lower.
Costs will be lower, and we are closer to the market, and which even gets into a potential, should we go even to South America? Because GF is there, we are not there, and of course, that's really important that you have already some facilities and can start to produce. Otherwise, everything is greenfield, and you need to set this up. And this is not a fast-moving industry; it's a slow-moving industry. So it takes time. But now, when we work together, this will be an accelerator. Yeah. And last question.
Just if nobody else. Okay.
Sure.
Can you just tell us the price points in the US versus Europe for your products? I know that not one-to-one comparable, but where do we sit here roughly? Is it similar? Are cross margins similar? Just to check this, please.
It's a very simple answer. Always premium.
but
oh yeah.
Europe versus the US, the offering.
Actually, we have never compared price. I mean, we compare this in the marketplace. Yeah. But never, Europe versus the Americas. Because the products are also, in most cases, different. They have a different coding. So that's not the topic. But we, of course, can command a good premium versus competition.
And just to double check, the cross margins are similar in Europe versus North America, or they're different?
The gross margin is slightly higher in the US because of the nature of the product portfolio.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have a question regarding the life expectation of such an underfloor heating system. I think we've heard, here in Switzerland, that there will be quite a few replacements to be done in the future, because these systems, I mean, they were introduced maybe 30 years ago, the first ones, and so now, are you expecting really then a wave of new installations?
Life expectation of underfloor heating, you would say at any plastic pipe, it is 50 years or more. This is actually always, let's say, a bit the benchmark. And when you go on the infra side, the calculation goes even 100 years and more, because these products are super long lasting and therefore also sustainable. What's more important is not just, let's say, when you go in renovation, replace one system with the other. You would then start to combine the underfloor heating with cooling and make this more intelligent. Use the infrastructure with your iPhone to make sure the temperature is always right. This is the bit also where the check size for our business, of course, just goes up. So just selling underfloor heating is attractive, but selling the whole system, of course, is much more attractive. So on the picture I showed you with the energy saving, the ticket is ×8 of just selling an underfloor heating system if they sell the full solution. So and now the connection is to my max decor. If we sell full solution, we can still grow, and even in a market which is a bit under pressure. If we sell the full solution, we can grow. So therefore, yes, I look at market development, but I tell you, I look more into what we can do with the existing markets we operate. Do we have still time for a question? 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Oh, this is Swiss precision. This is what I like. Any last question? Yeah,
yes.
sure.
Is it easy to produce your products in the production facilities of Georg Fischer? Is this switch, does this need a lot of investments, or can that be easily done?
No, the production of the product is not easy. So this is ultra precision always, and you need to have the experts who understand what they're doing. And also in many cases, you need to then get the product approved when it's produced in a different site. But our people know what they're doing, and they are used to do these things. But what we can, of course, use the backbone, and we have experts of GF. If we say, take Middle East, we get, of course, questions now every day. Are you coming over? Can we produce packs there? In the past, I would say, no, we need to, it's very complicated, but now we have a footprint there. Of course we could do. And I would send the engineers over, and you could start. So Andreas and I, we could, the whole day look at all these opportunities, but we need to make sure one after the other. Yeah.
So it's about bringing your people down to the GF production facilities, and with all that is there, they can produce your products.
And vice versa. So my colleague Thomas Fuhr, he's already talking with his colleague from Joost. So they are already saying, okay, what are we doing? By the way, they have both an automotive background. So one from Mercedes, one from BMW. So they talk to each other.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we are done. I don't want to steal your coffee break. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.